Attention, Madridistas! A triple bombshell in the transfer market and behind the scenes of the biggest club in the world. Real Madrid is being linked to an absolutely insane proposal for Rodri from Manchester City. At the same time, they are moving forward to renew the contract of rising star Gonzalo Garcia despite heavy interest, and they might even hand the iconic number 10 shirt to Arda Guler, a decision that is causing celebrations across an entire country and sending shivers down the spines of Bernabeu veterans. Stay tuned, because today's video is packed with information, context, and analysis that could change the way you see Real Madrid's next chapter. Before we continue, take a second, hit the like button right now, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and share with that Madridista friend who lives for transfer rumors. Every like helps this channel grow and ensures you won't miss any hot updates on the Madrid giant. Let's get straight to the main shocker. According to reports circulating in Spain, Real Madrid is ready to go wild in the market to try and snatch Rodri from Manchester City. The most explosive claim mentions a package including Eduardo Camvinga, Rodrygo goes, and €40 million on the table. Yes, you heard that right. Two key players from the Merengue squad, a young, versatile, tactically disciplined midfielder and a forward who thrives on big nights, plus cash to convince Pep Guardiola to release the Spanish maestro who dictates City's tempo. It's the kind of headline that sets the internet on fire and leaves everyone asking, is this a real negotiation, a pressure tactic, or just a media strategy to shake up the transfer window? Why Rodri? Let's dive into the context. Last season, Manchester City suffered greatly without their midfield anchor after he picked up a severe ACL injury in late September. Without their positional rock and ball circulation machine, the team lost consistency, dropped crucial points, and ended up only third in the Premier League, 13 points behind champions Liverpool, finishing the campaign without lifting a major trophy. For a club used to stacking titles under Guardiola, that sounded almost like a technical crisis. Now recovered, Rodri is once again considered untouchable as City look to rebuild their dominance. And that's where the drama starts. If there's one player City won't even consider selling, it's him. On the other side, you have Real Madrid, in the middle of a generational transition. With legends departing, a new coach in charge, and fresh stars arriving, the board is searching for that cornerstone player who can command the midfield for the next decade. Someone with tactical intelligence, composure under pressure, defensive coverage, and the personality to shine on Champions League nights. Inside Valdebebas, the consensus is that Rodri is the one name that convinces both the hierarchy and new manager Xabi Alonso. Alonso, who excelled as a midfield maestro in his playing days, has reportedly insisted on bringing in a player capable of dictating the tempo from deep, freeing Jude Bellingham for more advanced roles and providing balance alongside Tchouaméni, Valverde, and Camavinga. Which brings us to the most controversial part of the rumor, sacrificing Camavinga and Rodrygo. Let's break down the potential consequences if, and I emphasize if, a move of this scale were to happen. First, Camavinga's departure. The Frenchman is one of the team's tactical chameleons. He can play as a holding midfielder, a box-to-box engine, or even as an emergency left-back. Losing this Swiss Army knife would limit Alonso's ability to tweak systems in big matches. Second, Rodrygo's exit. Beyond his crucial Champions League goals, he brings movement between the lines, sharp runs into space, and instant chemistry with Vinicius Jr. in a squad already juggling the minutes of Mbappe, Vini, Endrick, and other prospects. Losing Rodrygo would open space but also remove proven synergy. Third, the financial angle. Trading away two massive assets plus €40 million means assigning an almost galactic value to Rodri. It's a heavy bet for a position that Real Madrid already partly covers with Tchouaméni. But the question is, does Tchouaméni alone offer the same level of control as Rodri? Some argue not yet. From City's perspective, accepting such a deal would mean rebuilding their midfield without its defensive brain, but they'd receive two elite players still developing. Camavinga could fit perfectly into Guardiola's positional pressing model. Rodrygo could add width and penetration to the attacking trio. Add €40 million, and you have extra ammunition for another strategic signing. However, Guardiola has made it clear that he doesn't want an overloaded squad and has reportedly threatened to reconsider his future if the board hands him a bloated group without defined roles. Bringing in two major players while losing his tactical pillar doesn't sound like the balance he's seeking. The result, while the sporting likelihood appears low, the media noise is massive, and where there's smoke, there might be indirect talks, market testing, or even diversion tactics. Now think about this. What if this rumor is also an internal message? Imagine the board showing everyone that no one is untouchable if the right deal comes along, while simultaneously putting pressure on City and testing the market for their young assets. Modern football is as much about negotiation as it is about tactics. So tell me, would you trade Camvinga and Rodrygo for Rodri plus 40 million? Or is that pure madness? Drop your opinion below. While the Rodri saga heats up, another story is unfolding at Valdebebas, Gonzalo Garcia's renewal. The young striker lived every academy player's dream by shining at the recent FIFA Club World Cup, scoring or assisting in every Real Madrid match up to the final. In a squad featuring stars like Mbappe, Vinicius Jr., and Rodrygo, making that kind of impact is no small feat naturally. The transfer link started. Getafe emerged as the frontrunner to sign him on loan or through a conditional agreement if he couldn't secure a first-team spot this season. But the story has shifted. Recent reports say that Gonzalo wants to stay and fight for his place at Real Madrid. Moreover, the club is already negotiating a new deal that would see him permanently promoted to the first team, with improved wages and a higher release clause, currently around €50 million. If this renewal goes through, the supposed Getafe agreement falls apart. For the fans, this is music to their ears. Keeping a young talent who has already made an impact in official competition reinforces the message that homegrown players have a pathway in Xabi Alonso's project. Let's look at the competitive scenario he faces. Alonso's initial plan seems to involve a two-man attack. Normally, Mbappe and Vinicius will occupy those spots on big nights. Behind them, the battle for minutes intensifies. Endrick arrives with huge hype and investment, while Gonzalo wants to prove he can be the mobile number 9 or second striker of choice during rotations. Factor in domestic cups, early Champions League rounds, and a congested La Liga calendar, and it's clear that opportunities will come. Those who take advantage will cement a place in the rotation, those who don't might be loaned out by January. That's why this renewal carries a competitive message. Only those who believe they can earn minutes will stay. Beyond the pitch, there's also a financial strategy. Raising his €50 million clause protects the club against interest from English, German, and Italian teams already eyeing his potential. Real Madrid has learned over time, remember cases where young talents left early and exploded elsewhere, that securing prospects costs less than buying them back at star prices. And notice how this connects to the Rodri rumor. If, hypothetically, Rodrygo were included in a big operation, the quickest way to restore offensive depth would be to fast-track Gonzalo Garcia. In other words, even if the mega deal never happens, planning his renewal provides squad flexibility. And speaking of young players with big expectations, we must tackle the most emotional topic of the moment: Arda Guler and Real Madrid's legendary number 10 shirt. Reports from Turkey, echoed by Spanish media, suggest that the club is considering giving the 20-year-old star the number that Luka Modric wore for so many years. Just mentioning it divides opinions. On one side, there's Turkish national pride. For millions of fans, seeing Arda with Madrid's number 10 would be international recognition and a sign of trust after his extraordinary sprint at the end of last season, when he put together a run of brilliant performances and 5 goals that sparked tactical debates. On the other side, experienced voices urge caution. Former striker Peja Mijatovic, the 1998 Champions League hero, went so far as to call the idea complete suicide, arguing that the creative burden Modric carried for a decade can't simply be placed on the shoulders of a young player still developing physically, mentally, and tactically. Why all the controversy over a number? At Real Madrid, the number 10 symbolizes more than creativity. It stands for leadership, decision-making in key moments, and historical weight. Young players who inherit iconic shirts too early sometimes crumble under external expectations. The question is Arda ready to be a reference point, or would he benefit from a gradual transition? Xabi Alonso, who worked with the Turkish midfielder at Bayer Leverkusen and knows him closely, is said to be one of the main advocates of giving him progressive responsibility, and granting him the number 10 could be part of that psychological empowerment plan. There's also a global marketing angle. The Turkish market is massive and passionate. An Arda number 10 jersey could skyrocket sales and digital engagement, something Real Madrid excels at. Technically, Arda offers close ball control, diagonal vision, and a strong mid-range shot. He's not a Modric clone, he's more of an advanced playmaker who can float between the lines, receive in the right half space, and accelerate quick combinations with fullbacks or forwards. If Alonso truly plans to build structures where a double pivot provides stability and frees a central creator, the number 10 could symbolize this hybrid role. Not exactly the old-school interior, but an attacking orchestrator who links up with the front line. Still, caution is warranted. Maintaining physical consistency is key, as his recent run of minor injuries slowed his breakout. Getting the right number doesn't guarantee minutes, performance and consistency do. And here's the invisible thread tying this whole video together. Real Madrid in 2025 stands at the crossroads of tradition and reinvention. Rumors of mega signings like Rodri show that the club doesn't hesitate to target the world's best when it spots structural gaps. At the same time, the battle to keep Gonzalo Garcia and potentially empower Arda Guler with the number 10 reflects a succession plan blending established stars, homegrown talent, and global football marketing bets. Xabi Alonso inherits a squad in flux, Mbappe and Vinicius as the main men, a midfield reshaping after the Modric Kroos era, hungry youth knocking on the door, and eternal pressure to win trophies. So now I want to hear from you, Madridista. What would you do if you were in charge? Would you pay the price of the century for Rodri, or trust in Tchouaméni and Camvinga? Would you keep Rodrygo at all costs, or make room for Gonzalo Garcia and Endrick? Would you hand Arda the number 10 this season, or wait another year? Comment below. Your input enriches the debate and helps the algorithm bring our content to more Madridistas. Don't forget, hit like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and share this video in your WhatsApp and Telegram Madridista groups. If you want to support even more, check out the Members Club with exclusive content, post-match live shows, and in-depth tactical analysis. Thanks for watching until the end, Madridista. I'll be back soon with more breaking news, analysis, and behind-the-scenes updates from the biggest club on the planet. Hala Madrid, and see you next time.